Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are all in a good shape. The foremost procedure in demonstrating your instructional course is bottomed on your intense preparation before presenting whatever you want to do. That is to say, you need to set a plan format for your lesson. Nevertheless, your planning is not a harmonized process. It is dependable on certain stages or certain procedures in order to set your planning. Today, I will tell you about the criteria that you should be expected about them in order to cope with any kind of circumstances. So, let me explain the steps of planning before doing your presentation. So the first thing, our title is about planning, as I mentioned. Plan formats, obviously, is linked to your lesson. So, plan, when you have lesson planning, it is bound up with 3 stages. So, planning itself is bound up with 3 stages. The first one is called the pre-planning. Right? The second one is the planning itself. And here, the third one is learning outcome. I will explain each one of them so you can know how they differ from each other. The first thing is pre-planning. I will use a keyword so that you can understand. Pre-planning is done obviously at home. So here, theoretical process, right? Planning here is practical. Learning outcome is the expected achievements at the end of the lesson or at the end of the whole semester. So, learning achievements. Alright, so this is just a keyword. I'm going to present an in-depth explanation or full detail about each one of them. So let's start with pre-planning. What do we mean by pre-planning? Pre-planning means you simply are going to use a worksheet paper and write the elements that are included within your lesson plan. So, for example, the common way is time layout, then we have lesson objective, the major important part, level or students profile or students level. What do we have? The procedures or the scheme of your paper, what you are going to do. Alright? What else? We have time layout, lesson objective, student level, and scheme. And here, what we have? Lesson. What is your topic about? And here, the final one is about your, for example, skill that need to focus on, right? These are all elements that are included with a pre-planning. Now let us move to planning. Pre-planning is theoretical. You are not yet inside the classroom. This is at home. Practical means planning itself. It means when you are doing or performing or applying what you have prepared priorly. So here in a practical, remember, we have 3 steps or 3 processes. The first thing, as I created, is spontaneous action. Right? Here, so this one is a spontaneous action. The second one is personal creativity. I will explain each one of them apart. Personal creativity. Right? And the final one is a dependable process. So you can understand, this is with this one. I will put them into a cycle or a box. Practical is about planning. Planning inside the classroom, you will go through the following process: spontaneous action, personal creativity, and dependable process. These are 3 stages you are going to do simultaneously during the classroom. Then we move to the learning outcome. Learning outcome can be inside the class, at the end of the lesson. So this is just small outcome, but a bigger outcome is linked to the whole semester. The most common known is called the formative assessment. It is linked, it's similar to formative assessment. At the end of the lesson, you are going to give them homeworks to evaluate or to assess their performance. So you can have a learning to ensure the learning outcomes is being achieved, right? So here is called achievement, learning achievements at the end of the lesson. Right, now let me explain the presented keywords. So this is all easily known. This is these are elements that you're going to implement or mention in your worksheet paper. When you present or you plan for your lesson, you are going to use what? Theoretically, this is outcome, time layout, how much time does your lesson take, lesson objective, the most important, what is your objective, and students level, are they second year, first year, second year, third year, middle school students, secondary school students, university students, whatever. And then you have a scheme. It's similar to a procedure. What you are going to do, for example, if you are focusing on listening skill, you are going to do pre-skill, pre-listening, during listening, and a post-listening. The same thing applied to the rest of skills. So this is about scheme. lesson, what is your topic about? Is it about comparatives? Is it about if conditional? Is it about whatever, right? And we have a skill that you are intended to focus on. Is it about listening, speaking, reading, or writing, or integrative skill? This is all theory. Here is the most important part. Because planning is practical. Why I said planning is practical? Because when you deal with a real classroom, be sure that planning is not harmonized process. It's not standardized. It can change based on the circumstances, you are dealing with. For instance, your students may or may not understand what you are introducing, right? So you need to consider these kinds of changes. This is about planning. The first one is spontaneous action, unexpected situation that you may encounter during your lesson. For example, some students did not cope with the lesson. They did not understand the instruction. So you need to simplify for them. Whereas the other students who are highly motivated, skillful, acknowledgeable, they will understand easily. So they will finish the task in a due time. So that you should not let them wait for their colleagues to finish or to do the task. You should give them another thing, just to make them motivated rather than being bored. So you should give them, for example, role play. If they've done it theoretically, you will ask them to do it or perform it in a dialogue or in a group discussion. This is just my own opinion. Right, we move to personal creativity. Here refers to the teacher himself or herself. Personal creativity, the skillful or intellectual teacher, when he or she encounters this kind of situation, unexpected situation, he should react directly. You should know how to adapt with the unexpected changes. This is personal creativity. You are going to create a task that suits that person, right? This is the meaning of personal creativity. Now, dependable process. It's similar to personal creativity, but in one point. Dependable process means that your lesson is linked or is based according to the learners or the students' profile. If students don't understand, you are going to change your task, change the way you present your lesson. So you should give them suitable tasks that fit their own abilities. Now we move to the final part. The learning achievements, as I said, is like formative assessments. You are going to provide them with homework inside the classroom, not when they leave and you will ask them to do it. No, you will give them homeworks and they will do it at home, obviously. Or you can give them a task to ensure their abilities or their comprehensible input and output at the same time. So this is a clever way to ensure the learning outcomes. We have at the end of each lesson. So at each lesson, you are going to provide them with a task. When they finish, they achieve or they gain the learning outcomes of that lesson. The next day, they will do it, and so forth. At the end of the semester, you will have the learning outcome of the whole semester. This is the meaning of planning and its criteria. That was all. Thank you very much for your kind consideration, and see you for the